AI and violence. What is AI, you ask?
Artificial intelligence, or AI, simply put, is the ability of computers to perform acts that are commonly thought to be only capable of being carried out by humans or intelligent creatures. Human beings have been fascinated by intelligence for centuries, from philosophers of the old to the current man. A question asked by numerous people throughout time was, is it possible to create intelligence? Scientists started work on this in the mid 20th century. At first, they thought it would be extremely simple to simulate human intelligence. But after they started work on this, they realized how wrong they were. Early success had motivated them, but after hitting roadblocks after roadblocks, research entered a period known as the AI winter. In this period, research funds were reduced and there was no major breakthrough. After this period, researchers started focusing on specific domains instead of modeling intelligence as a whole. This created major breakthroughs and funding was restored. Due to the specificity, techniques from different fields like statistics and economics could be utilized. By the start of the 21st century, artificial intelligence could be found everywhere.
One thing that a lot of people don't know is that almost every single piece of modern technology in our houses now has some sort of implementation of AI. If you look at our phones, the social media apps that we use every single day rely on AI to adapt their content to our preferences so that we use their apps more and more. The navigation apps we use AI to show us the fastest possible route to get to our destination. Every single ad that we see is because of an AI that has been fed our information to show us ads that we are more likely to click. Even something as basic as a keyboard uses AI to learn how we type, so we don't have to spend as much time typing. These examples may seem like a lot, but this is only scratching the surface. The cameras used to check license plate numbers of speeding cars are also dependent on AI. In recent years especially, AI has become so advanced that it can draw images from a single line of text. It can replicate what an artist can do in days, all in a few seconds. Even after knowing where AI is used, one might not think much of it, as in most cases AI is actually quite useful, but there is more to it than meets the eye. AI is used extensively in the data collection industry. Most companies now know everything about us, sometimes even more so than what people around us know. There could even come an age where every single profession could be threatened by the existence of AI that can do their work faster and with more accuracy. Since an AI is constantly evolving, it could also learn things that it shouldn't and develop certain properties that would threaten us. There is also the singularity theory, based on the hypothesis of AI evolving to such a level that it would threaten the human civilization. After all such possibilities, this is the perfect time to bring up the question, can AI truly be trusted?
Social media has now become the new battleground in contemporary conflicts, and social media websites set the AI in such a way that they promote these conflicts and toxic content, which increases the time spent on their websites, thus increasing their profits. Multimedia content meant to antagonize a group of people for political ends, and this is primarily spread to social media. Websites such as Facebook claim to remove about 90 to 95% of all type of these posts. However, they only manage to remove a dismal 3 to 4%. And almost all of these posts still remain on these websites, exposes how much Facebook relies on their AI for their content moderation and how ineffective that AI is in doing its job. In our current social media landscape, harmful and manipulative political content circulates more rapidly and widely than ever before, and the dangers caused by this are especially acute. A great example of AI promoting misinformation and violence is the conflict in Myanmar. An ongoing government atrocities against the Rohingya minority have been justified and fueled by nationalist memes on Twitter and Facebook. The Rohingya are accused of being dangerous foreigners and an existential threat to the integrity and survival of the country that must be eradicated. While in the recent Colombian conflict, continuing instability following the 2016 peace accord between the rebels and the government has been partly fueled by the dehumanizing and misleading social media posts about political opponents. And none of these posts and memes have still been removed by Facebook and other social media websites, as these controversy breeds more profit for these websites. Another situation in which Facebook played a big role was the genocide of the Tigrayan ethnic group in Ethiopia. It was used to normalize violence rhetoric to its 6 million users. Due to the violent content promoting recommendation system, these posts were effective in shifting the narrative to the Ethiopian government's side. A few years ago, Microsoft released an AI chatbot on Twitter called Tay. It could learn and improve itself by talking to people. Unfortunately, the AI chatbot soon started learning all sorts of racist and misogynistic remarks. In a mere 24 hours, the AI chatbot had become corrupted and became the exact opposite of its purpose of creation. Microsoft then had to clean up the chatbot's offensive tweets and give a statement to control the damage.
As we move further and further into the age of technology, we should also discuss how to combat these disadvantages of AI. Like many of our problems, the fixes may seem simple in theory, but aren't as easy to implement. To fix these problems, we would need to change a lot of things, especially the fact that it can learn and constantly adapt. We need to control and filter out where it learns from. If we keep letting it promote negative information, we will only grow more and more toxic as a society. If we choose incorrect testing grounds, we would also be making an AI that is meant to fail, like the ones used with Twitter and Facebook. Furthermore, we also need to make sure that the data used to teach the AI is unbiased and filtered, as publicly accessible, unfiltered data will always change the AI into a racist and a violent spreader of negativity. We should also avoid using AI in the tasks that require moral or ethical outputs, and instead mainly use them for subjective and scientific results. In the end, all the fixes we come up with can almost never be implemented. Why? Because every negative and positive thing AI has done and will do on a larger scale will be up to a multi billion dollar company whose prime goal is money. And when it comes to such companies, all morals go out of the window. Taking that into account, who can we actually trust? And will we ever know what the future holds before it's too late?